Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another movie review. Me and DJ Sue Aris here, talking The Invisible Man, Blumhouse
That's right.
produced
That's
movie.
right. That's right. We're doing The Invisible Man. I'm going to say I was pleasantly surprised with how good this movie was.
Bruh. So, the movie is directed by Leigh Whannell. I interviewed him a couple years back. He did a movie called Upgrade. Very solid movie. Kind of like basically a better version of Venom, essentially. But he's also the guy that helped on the Insidious movies and stuff, and he has a way of making these films where he keeps you on the edge, like straight up, like he'll present you a plot, but you're curious about the mystery of how it got to that point, right? So, Invisible Man. I saw the first trailer, right? You know what I thought it was? I thought it was like the ghost of her husband that got killed that was attacking her, right? When I saw the second trailer, I was like, oh, this is the actual Invisible Man. Okay. Right off the break.
Now see if they went that route of it being his actual ghost,
Yeah.
that would have been on some M. Night level stuff right there.
That's why I thought, because that's how the initial trailers kind of made it seem like she's going crazy and it's this ghost kind of thing, right? Because that actually would have been pretty interesting and stuff if they did that. But this movie goes a different route. We're not going to spoil the hows and intricacies of it, but the movie does a great job of pretty much, if you're paying attention, you'll see how it got to that point, But Elizabeth Moss sells the shit out of somebody getting like traumatized by a fucking invisible person, like straight
Or
up.
someone who feels like she's just being constantly watched and
Fucked with the whole
like
time.
yeah, I mean this like God only knows, what she really honestly went through, being in this relationship.
Yeah, she leaves the relationship. Her husband is abusive, obviously and stuff. Like the basic
I
premise.
I don't even think they're even married in this movie.
No, they were married.
No, they
Well,
they
well, they
weren't.
say relationship, but the movie made it seem they were married, so to speak, a little bit, I guess. But I don't know. It's weird.
The movie tried to imply that they're married, but they're clearly not.
Yeah,
They really weren't.
yeah. So it's like the basic premise is Elizabeth Moss plays Cecilia, and she is leaving her husband slash boyfriend or whatever and stuff. He's this big, Silicon Valley person and stuff. He has this ballin' ass mansion in San Francisco and stuff. Gated community, well, gated home period actually, and as
I
she's
was about to
leaving,
say gated community, bro. That is a
yeah,
compound.
that's a complex and stuff. And she's leaving, and said husband, breaks the window of her sister's car as she's trying to escape, and basically her husband kills himself, and she inherits the money, and then that's when the plot of the movie kind of kicks in, where crazy ass shit is happening to her, and she ends up looking crazy in front of Aldis Hodge and Storm Reid, who play James and Sydney, respectively, kind of childhood friends of her character and stuff, and kind of sets the tone for the plot, so to speak,
I
for
I
the
was gonna
film.
say James. Like, like when I first saw him, I said the son of Delroy Lindo.
Man, listen, I'll say
he was
this.
rock. He was rocking that scruffy beard.
I'll say this. I was fearful of the black characters. This isn't really spoiling the movie, but I like how they use the characters. Every character has a purpose. It's not a very crowded movie, which I think is great. It keeps the focus on the characters, because at most you get Cecilia's sister,
Mhm.
her husband's boy, her brother, who's like the lawyer and kind of the state person that handles the transactions and stuff, and then James and Sydney, and that's it. Like, you don't really get no other characters in this film, and I think that works for this film, because I think this could have easily been an overcrowded film of like, okay, here's this character, now here's this character, here's another one. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
but
they don't. Yeah, they didn't have to. They don't try to flood this movie with like a bunch of characters for you to memorize, and you got to try to remember. No, like usually with psychological suspense movies or suspense thriller movies like this, you always keep your cast to a handful.
Yeah, it's like 6 total that you're really kind of
Yeah.
dealing with in this film, which, like I said, it works and stuff. But like I said, the star of the movie is literally Elizabeth Moss and just the titular Invisible Man. Because I'll just say this: what special effects that they show for the character is great for a $10 million budget movie. Well, actually, a $7 million budget movie, but I think it's probably 10 million because marketing and such. But
hmm
yeah, they did a really good job with the effects. Straight up, like it's
I
great.
was, yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed with the use of, both CG as well as, I would say there was some practical effects
I
that
think it
was
was a
used
lot of
in it.
practical effects. Some
Yeah.
of the, especially with like her getting thrown around, that looked like straight up like practical, like the strings and everything. Like they
I,
sold
I
it.
personally, I personally would love to see how they shot that. Like, whenever they put out the behind the scenes of how they shot
Oh, this is
certain
get
scenes,
this
there's
this
a
this
lot
this,
of
this is
scenes in
getting
this movie
bought
I
on
wouldn't know how
Blu-ray.
they shot.
Like I need to know the stunt person that did all them flips.
Yeah.
Because there's one scene in the kitchen where and you probably noticed it too. They did a really good job of editing that whole like sequence with her getting thrown around and stuff. I thought that was great.
They did.
I mean, like the editing was great. The cinematography was on point, like straight up.
Oh yeah, there was some really good shots in this one. Like in this movie, like every time we do these reviews, I'm not gonna lie. Like I will point out anytime a movie had really really good shots,
Hmm.
and this was definitely one of them. I would say probably one of my favorite shots. A lot of my favorite shots from were from Adrian's house.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that house was. I think the way the house, because it's one of those simple houses and stuff. Because we were talking about it and stuff. This movie was filmed in Sydney, Australia and stuff, which I didn't pick up on it until Eris
No,
read the credits and stuff because I was
I was gonna
because I
say
mean I'm
not Sydney. That was in New Wales.
oh my bad, New Wales, my bad.
New Wales,
Well, they did
but
film some
Australia.
stuff in Australia, but yeah, yeah. From what I think, well, I think from what I heard, they did principal photography in Australia, but yeah, New Wales and a lot of other places and stuff. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was San Francisco straight up. They did it pretty. Maybe because they filmed the majority of the stuff at night. That's another aspect of this film because you get some daytime scenes and stuff and offices and stuff, but like the movie's supposed to be in San Francisco, and then you see like Eris pointed out the New Wales thing. It's like, oh, huh. I thought it was in San Francisco. Who knew?
Yeah, but yeah, since they shot it out there, again, it apparently Australia can pass for San
Well, at
Francisco.
night, but let's be real. Like,
And
you're not really paying attention much to like any sort of, because you could tell they got like establishment shots of San
oh yeah,
Francisco. Clearly,
there was plenty of establishing shots of San Francisco. I mean, you already know what's the most obvious thing to get a shot of when you're
like
shooting in
Golden
San
Gate
Francisco.
Bridge, the hills in San Francisco.
hmm
Those little establishing shots and stuff. So that worked. The music was actually really good. It's we were in a well, the movie theater basically showed everything. You're in Dolby Digital surrounds. It's like Jesus.
Oh, okay. I'm a point. All right. I just gotta throw a couple of knocks at movie theaters, not specifically the theater we were at, but because this is every theater.
Yeah.
Anytime you go to a Dolby cinema experience, good Lord, if they need to, if they like, if this thing has to constantly beat it into your skull that you are experiencing Dolby Cinema. I'm like, I got it. I got it the first time you did your little demonstration. They go back. In fact, they love showing it to you so much that they have to show it to you again another 5 more times.
3 times. 3 times during before the movie. I'm like, how many times do I have to be told of Dolby Digital Surround? I get it. Fuck's
I'm
sakes,
like,
man. Just
how many times you got to show me this, this whitish black to show me standard screening, and then you show me the Dolby, like the Dolby Cinema, which was like full black. I'm looking at like Dolby Cinema. You are trying so hard to be IMAX.
I
Stop.
mean, no bullshit.
Like, stop
I
it.
mean, I'm just sitting there like, dude, just get to the fucking movie. Like I said, this isn't a knock on the movie. It's just like, yo, theaters, like, chill. Just go straight to the movie. You know.
Because I went through this. I went through this with Sonic, and I
Oh
went
my
through this
god,
with
you
this
too?
movie. Yeah. God, like, okay, so basically put it this way: if you went to go see this movie and the movie starts at 7 o'clock and you go for the Dolby experience,
7:30
oh my
starts.
god, dude, movie's not gonna start till about 8 because you got to sit through about 6 to 8 coming attractions, and then you got to sit through the Dolby experience.
We're exaggerating, by the way, but still, it does feel like, all right, we got the first Dolby Digital. All right, cool. And
It's
we
a
got another
sit.
one.
It is a sit. Like, no, seriously, it's a sit before the movie starts.
I'll say 15 minutes. I'll say about 15 minutes or so. It's like, come on, man. Can we just get to the movie already? Like, please. I would really love to see this film.
It was god, but no, but back to the movie. Now one of my I would say one of my other favorite shots was the hospital scene.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we ain't going to spoil it, but, like, the hospital, the way that whole sequence went, it's actually great. Like, straight up, it's like they keep the tension intact. Crazy shit happens, and you're like, man, this is great how they filmed this. This is like, wow. Like I said, I'm with you. I want to see the behind the scenes of how they did all this. Like that had to be like crazy extensive, especially with the camera work and everything. Like I think the greatest thing about this film is that they capture tension very well. Like the jump scares,
they did.
When the jump scares hit, it's not cheap jump scares.
You can halfway expect it, but at the same time, when you're expecting a jump scare, it doesn't happen.
Oh yeah, there was a moment where I was expecting a jump, and then when it happened, it's like, oh, well, I was actually kind of jumped a little inside myself a little bit on that, you know. And I think it's from the trailer and stuff when she throws paint on old boy, but still, it was kind of one of those like you know how in the back of your head you remember seeing the thing from the trailer, but then you just don't really think about it until it actually happens in the moment. That was when it happened. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Or you know, your mind goes into disbelief because of the typical tricks that Hollywood does with trailers, where the trailer will show you something that doesn't even appear in the movie at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like that thing with the paint. Like, a part of me thought, you know, maybe they might do it or they might not.
Yeah,
because that is
yeah, you're right.
Because that's a typical thing with movies like this. Anytime you get somebody that's quote unquote invisible, all they gotta do is throw some paint or throw some type of liquid, like with color in it, and it reveals the character, or you see the character for a brief moment.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Go ahead. Yeah, my bad.
But in this movie's case, the way that they put that together, it worked out very well.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy too because like, you know, you hear the Invisible Man and you think back to like the black and white version of the Invisible Man where they make him like a very tragic character. Like, oh, he took this potion and it made him invisible and he went insane a little bit because he's invisible to the world and that kind of stuff, you know. And you're like, all right, how are they going to... Because I'm always curious, like, how do you do a twist on this? I mean, hell... We saw, funny enough, we're actually doing a month on this called "Damn It, White People." Hollow Man.
Yep.
Hollow Man is like,
it's very ironic that we are doing this movie after seeing Invisible Man. One of our future reviews is going to be Hollow Man.
Yeah, and Hollow Man did it in a way, but Hollow Man did it in a way that's like Invisible Man, it's like when the fucked up shit happens in Invisible Man, it works. But in Hollow Man, it's like when we actually dive into the movie, Hollow Man, it does it in a way that's just like, it's a little sleazy. But whatever, you know. Which is funny because I think the invisible effects in this movie is better than Hollow Man's, but, you know, Hollow Man's was groundbreaking at the time, I guess, you know. But yeah, it's just seeing like all these different variations of it and stuff. I'm actually curious to see if Blumhouse does more of these Universal monster type films and stuff. I mean, because after Universal stopped doing this, I think Invisible Man and a lot of those other properties are kind of like aren't they like the type of properties where anybody can do movies? They're not really restricted to one company.
I think that might be the case. I know, I know with some of the backstory I was reading up, this movie was supposed to come out about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was part of the Dark Universe thing because after Tom Cruise's The Mummy,
Yeah,
Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man, but then when The Mummy
that movie crashed and burned so hard.
that is an understatement. That shit, but yeah, it crashed and burned. Universal was like, okay, I guess that was a bad idea because it was Dracula Untold, which actually did pretty good at the box office. That was actually a fairly entertaining movie. And then The Mummy hit, and that was supposed to be, oh man, Tom Cruise, The Mummy, and and you had old boy playing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and then like you said, it crashed and burned, and then it was like, whoop, I guess we're done, because like I said, Johnny Depp was supposed to be Invisible Man. Javier Bardem was supposed to play the Wolfman in a solo movie, and they were all supposed to come together, and I'm like, well, that was stupid. So now,
Yep.
Blumhouse like, all right, we'll do one, so.
I'm like, would this be Blumhouse trying to put together a movie that ain't, that hasn't been seen since the '80s, Monster Squad?
There was no Invisible Man in the Monster Squad, was it?
There wasn't, but I mean, this could be a new take.
Could. I mean, at this point, you're doing Invisible Man. I could see Blumhouse doing a $10 million Wolfman movie that would actually be kind of on some, like, the Werewolf of London tier of, like, oh, shit, like, that's going to be some scary shit.
Oh, wait, you talking about the John Landis American Werewolf?
Yeah, I could see Blumhouse doing something like that. Like,
yeah.
Because, because Blumhouse, I'm pretty sure you've seen some of their movies, right? Like Insidious and all that.
Honestly, this is the first one I've seen.
Oh, yeah, man. Blumhouse, they have been on the roll with a lot of their horror movies and stuff. Like I said, they're the people behind the Purge movies, Get Out, Split, Happy Death Day, Upgrade, Sinister, Halloween, the Halloween movie that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
All those movies and stuff, the Paranormal Activities and stuff. So they produce and distribute a lot of those movies and stuff, and they really have been on the roll, especially on the horror front. So, yeah, I can see them. This is definitely going to be. I'm not going to say game changer. That's kind of like maybe too much and stuff. But it's weird because they came out recently with Fantasy Island, and that wasn't too good. So,
yeah, that didn't work.
It's made money, but it's like wasn't too good. But whatever,
like you look at the movie and say, "So movie, you made your money back, but it didn't feel good making it back, did it?"
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those like you feel dirty afterwards, like man.
It's like you try to find the upside to this, and even when you think, "Oh, yeah, we got our money back," it still doesn't feel good knowing that you just barely scraped by getting your money back.
Yeah, so, but cool thing is, after this, another Blumhouse movie that I'm actually excited for, The Hunt.
I heard about this.
It's going to be great. It's great. It's fun. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm thinking about checking. No, I want to check it out. I mean, it looks interesting.
Oh, no, we got a screener for that one, so we're definitely checking that out. Definitely, because that's...
Oh.
Yeah, we're definitely checking it out. I was just pointing it out. That's the next Blumhouse movie we're definitely going to be seeing and stuff. But, okay, let me ask you this before we go. So, They dubbed this, like, sci-fi horror and stuff. I said it's a psychological thriller. Do you kind of like... I see a lot of people say it could be horror, but, like, it's kind of weird for me to put it in a horror category, No,
I second that. I second that immediately, that this is more of a psychological suspense psychological suspense thriller type of movie. Because to me, there really isn't like a real horror aspect to it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like I'm not feeling any horror. See, for me to be like for it to be like a true horror film, there has to be like multiple jump scares, fake outs, stuff like that.
Which
and
there
there's not a whole there's not a whole lot of expected jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
The jump scares are there, and they work when they do show up. The fake outs, there might have been like probably one or two fake outs, if I could point off the top of my head. I at least spotted at the most three fake outs.
Yeah.
But but to be thrown into the category of horror, no, I don't see it.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at like a 8.5 with it. What are you sitting at?
I'm giving this movie. I'm gonna give it a solid 8.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense and stuff.
Yeah,
it's worth it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I saw the trailer only once, and then honestly, I forgot about it as time went by. And then going in to see the movie like fresh, like super fresh, like fish out of water fresh. And
I think what makes it work is that the trailers didn't give anything away. It goes back to what I was saying earlier at the start. Like I thought it was legit like a ghost. Like they never, the greatest thing about both trailers is that they never extended themselves out in what the movie was about. And I think that's what kind of captured my attention because I was like, yo, how is this dude doing this? Is he a ghost? Is it an experiment? What's up? And I think that's what made it great going into it. Like zero expectations. Let's see what happens. And it's like, oh, okay, this is great. And trust me, folks, there's like at least 3 twists in this movie that works. And you all of a sudden you'll have that like weebay face like, oh my God. Wow.
I counted at least 4. About 4 or 5.
4? Huh. I feel bad I didn't catch the other ones now. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's definitely
it'd be total spoilers. I ain't gonna tell you.
Oh yeah. Definitely not. But yeah, definitely go see this. This is definitely worth your time. If you really want a psychological thriller movie on your plate, this is definitely it. So yeah, that in mind, we will catch you guys later for the next one. Peace out.
We done.